Hey, how y'all doing? It's your girl Dee Leggett, aka the Core Queen. I am back with the final episode of season 3. Y'all, this is the finale. Oh my goodness, this has been an amazing season. We have learned a lot. We met a lot of great people, and today will be no different. I have one of the most amazing powerhouse panels coming on tonight to talk to y'all. And I hope y'all call in with questions to join this conversation because I think it's very important, especially how this world is going right now. We need some healing, y'all. We really need some healing, and we need to really talk about things that we normally don't talk about. So before I bring my panel on, I will introduce you to them again because they are returning guests to the show. So let me read their bios to you right quick, and then we're going to get into this discussion. I'm going to start with my girl, Kimberly Johnson. She is the founder of Seat of Authority Ministries and is an anointed leader with a heart for intercessory prayer, Bible teaching, evangelism, and healing ministry. Her calling was forged through seasons of street evangelism in Chicago. Ooh, ministering in women's shelters and international missions in Nigeria. Known for her uncommon faith, she carries a powerful anointing to minister healing to the body, the mind, and the spirit, while equipping believers with kingdom strategies to thrive and reign in victory. Kimberly's passion is to see souls saved, lives transformed, and the body of Christ walking in divine order and authority. Y'all welcome Kimberly to the show. Welcome back, Kimberly.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. Thank you for coming back. Now I'm going to introduce this. This man is just something else, y'all. I'm telling you, if you watched him on my show before, it's still going crazy because he stirred the pot, okay? Christian Winters is a visionary global thinker, best-selling author, and leading voice on rediscovering purpose, healing, and identity. With degrees in education, philosophy, and organizational leadership, Christian has empowered lives across continents, speaking at universities, leadership summits, and faith gatherings from South America to Australia, into India, and throughout Africa. His work dismantles cultural and emotional barriers, offering men a path to healing, truth, and transformation. Through powerful storytelling and practical wisdom, Christian continues to awaken hearts and restore hope worldwide. Y'all welcome Christian to the show. What's up? Look, you still on mute, Christian.
I'm back. What's up, y'all? Core Queen. Thank you for having me, my sister.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to have you back on the show.
Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, my sister from another mister, Miss Ramona Gaines, is a visionary entrepreneur, author, and healing advocate. She's the founder of Stillwater's Cafe and Stillwater's Ministries, which have served as sacred spaces for faith, music, and emotional recovery for over 2 decades. Her journey through grief, spiritual conflict, and personal transformation has birthed a powerful body of work, including the Movement is Medicine series, the Parent Kids Network, and the uplifting Kidaboo, the Kin Care Tree book series. Ramona is not just speaking about healing, she's lived it, taught it, and continues to embody it through faith, family, and purpose. Y'all, welcome Ramona Gaines back to the show.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Y'all ready to get into this conversation? Because we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we here, right?
Well, I'm going to start off with the first section of this show, which is called Church Hurt and Faith. So my first question for all of you, and you can decide who wants to go first. No, I'll tell you who go first, because depending on the question, we're going to set this thing up. How can unhealed trauma influence the way people experience or respond to church communities? I'm going to start with Kim.
Wow. You say, how can it affect the way that people respond in communities, in the church community, correct?
You experience the church community and respond to church community.
Okay. Well, understanding that just the family dynamic, first of all, influences how we have our relationships outside in social settings, depending on where that trauma started. You know, if it's at home or in family or things of that nature, it's definitely going to be the foundation of the lack of trust, the place of rejection and all of the things that causes people to come in with the actions of attention seeking, people pleasing, wanting to be seen, and all of those things. So it can be the foundation of the dysfunction in their church relationships. Um, just watching it and having experienced it, right, is where we see those who are leaders, especially, they've been hurt and they're still insecure. And we know the cycle of hurt people continuing to hurt people. And this is something that we've protected and allowed to continue to happen for generations. Because as families and for generations, we said, you don't talk about it. You just pray for the person. Love covers a multitude of sin, and you have to respect your elders. You can't call them out and hold them accountable. And all of those things have been transferred into the church setting, and it definitely affects how it's handled, how it's received, how it's not responded, all of the things. So
absolutely. All right, Ramona, I want you to go next. You want me to reread the question? Or are you good?
Yes, let's reread it.
Okay, it says, how can unhealed trauma influence the way people experience or respond to church communities?
Yeah. Dysfunction breeds dysfunction. And if you don't get healed, like Kim was saying, you do transfer that into your church family relationships, or not just how can I say this? The trauma from your family can affect how you figure into your church family, but then also the way you were raised affects how you lead people as well. So it's actually like two dynamics going on at the same time if training and awareness is not in place for the leaders and for those that are broken, those that have trauma issues and things like that. And then also, I think the other thing that comes into play is ego. Um, because leaders feel like, I should be like this super something and my people shouldn't need anything outside, or whatever we have here in house should be enough. But sometimes we have to recognize that we don't always have what people need, and be able to be aware enough to reach outside for other additional resources in areas that we're not skilled in, to help our people. But when we allow ego, and ego comes from us being insecure in areas and still needing to be seen or things like that, or to be Superman or Superwoman. But we really need to take off the cape and just let God be who He is. Allow the Holy Spirit to give us the wisdom and how we should deal with people and just do better by them. But those are the two areas that I see a lot, especially with like birth order. That's why a lot of times when I have conversations with people, I ask them about their birth order, because their birth order will tell you a lot about things as well.
Christian, what you got?
Well, I think before there was ever a church, there was a family. There was no church in the Garden of Eden. There was a family in the Garden of Eden, and that's really what God set up. There was no government in the garden, no church in the garden. The family was the structure that God intended. And I think we've ignored the family and paid so much attention to the church and the government that we haven't solidified what really counts. It's in the family where you learn how to do the rest. And we haven't learned how to do the rest. There's so many family secrets, so much hurt in family that we have not talked about. So what happens is what we see. That's why we see a lot of mental illness in the church, because people are trying to replace what they didn't get in their family. That's why we came up with this concept, church family, which is nowhere in the Bible, but we came up with that because many times people are trying to replace their family with the church family, and the church family allows them to ignore the brokenness and how they grew up And then they're wondering why the church is so messed up, because you won't address the brokenness that's in the family. So is it in relationships. I tell people all the time, even when I counsel couples, there's no point in us talking about your relationship. We need to talk about your relationship with your mom and dad, because that's who you're really bringing to the relationship. And so I think that we can't ignore what happens in the brokenness of the family, the childhood, how you were treated or how you weren't treated, what was said to you and what wasn't said to you. Then we bring that all to church and we put music behind it and shouting and dancing. And the truth is that we have not addressed our real issues and real brokenness. Even pastors, there's most pulpits are filled with low self-esteem, not pastors. And so what they're preaching is from their own pain, and they're trying to enslave the people to them instead of to God, because they're broken as well. It's love that they didn't get. Somebody didn't say something good to them. That's why everybody needs to stand up when you walk in, and you got to put on this fancy suit when you come in, and you got to wear all this clown costume in the pulpit, because you need something that you didn't get when you were 5. And so until we address that, we'll keep on playing games and spiritualizing our brokenness.
Yes.
Christian, you ain't got to hit us in the gut like that. Golly.
I've been around too long. I've been around too long, and I've been over it for a long time.
Listen, I already know. I love it. You know, I love the raw and uncut. I ain't got time for the pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
Give it to me raw.
Yep.
Okay. So, dang, that was y'all. Well, I ain't got to say nothing. Y'all covered all. Y'all covered it all. Go to the next question. Have you seen examples where church hurt actually reopens old wounds instead of healing them? Ramona.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've experienced it. And I had to address it in my own life. Um, so I had an instance, I guess it was about 2 years ago, where a gentleman in church addressed me so aggressively, it almost, well, it didn't almost, it took me back to a place of trauma.
Mm.
And I had to tell myself um, I was safe, I couldn't be harmed, but I also had to acknowledge that that space was not safe for me. I understood that the leader wasn't going to protect me, and I had to move myself out of harm's way because my healing is my responsibility. Now, what happened to me previously wasn't my fault, but my healing is my responsibility. And I no longer interact with that person at all. And I had to be careful not to tell some of my family members also, because that just wouldn't have went down very well. Men are not supposed to handle women brutally, even if it's in how they speak to you. And if I'm honoring you as who you are as a human, that exchange doesn't have to go that way. But we never know who we're handling. And what if I wasn't emotionally capable to walk myself, or mentally capable to walk myself through the process of that? And what about all the people that have been in those places that didn't have that skill set? Because that really could have popped off. I could have popped off. Let me just be really, really clear. I don't know how it would have went down. He was about 6'4". I'm 4'11" and a half, but I would have gave it my best shot. However, I shouldn't have felt like that, or at least I don't think I should have felt like that in a church building. So yeah, that's my story.
Yeah. Dang. What about you, Kim?
Repeat the question again for me.
Have you seen examples where church hurt actually reopens old wounds instead of healing them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we see it happening every day. I was just reminded of that situation that happened on social media. If you haven't seen it, with the young lady Mahogany, we don't know what her story is. We don't know. I mean, I know she's gone on to say a few things, but just first glance, we don't know if she was having a bad morning. You know what I mean? You just never know what the situation is, right? But now understanding that there was a conversation that was had prior to the service where some information was shared, and she didn't respond to it the way that woman thought she should have, and to, you know what I mean? So that whole thing, if mahogany was not healed.
Hold on, wait. For people who are listening who may not know the story,
okay.
Just it's a clip that's gone viral at a
Yes.
church where a lady was in the pulpit and she pretty much called the girl Mahogany out.
Yes.
For quote unquote not giving her a proper hug, or the hug didn't feel like it normally does or something. And pretty much dismissed her out of the choir stand in front of the entire congregation.
Yes.
No, in front of the nation. It was on the internet. It was a live stream.
Well, yes. Well, I only saw it when it was viral, so I didn't know if somebody shared the video, if it was live, but that's how I ingested it. So, yeah.
Yes. And so the backstory is that she was informed after she had already driven over an hour or so to come and serve and be a part of the worship team, that she would no longer be receiving compensation. And so, you know, that's something that I feel that, honestly, they took away her choice to decide to still come, yet she still went up, right? Because of her service to God first. And then to be attacked like that, right? Because she didn't respond the way that somebody thought that she should have. My statement was, had, like Apostle said, had she not had the skill set or been healed to the level where she was able to let God be God over that situation, and she not elevate herself to defend herself, right? At that moment, she stayed calm, she stayed cool, she stayed collected. But had that been another person who had not been healed, that situation could have been bad. It could have ended up like those scenes that we've seen before, where the pulpit gets torn up because there's an outward response and a response to the disrespect. So we don't realize that, you know, when we confront people in that way and we treat them poorly, that we could cause them to respond from a place of their own trauma. We think we know a lot about a person because the Holy Spirit may have shown something, or we have quote unquote discerned certain things. But at the end of the day, we still only know portions. God knows all things. And then at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to operate with love, with kindness, with gentleness, with patience, all of the things that she did not display in that moment. And honestly, the truth of the matter, it's the hurt people hurting people, and it's the ego, and it's other spirits that are operating behind the scenes that it's causing the response and continuing that cycle of hurt people hurting people. And it causes us to give the church a horrible reputation. It causes people to no longer have faith in what it is that Christ established in the church, and they call it a joke. To a lot of people, there is no power in the church, and that's because they have not experienced, nor do they know the true church. That's where the power is. But unfortunately, we see the farces.
Because baby, if it was me,
yeah,
I ain't that healed. I'd have knocked everything over in that damn pulpit. They would have had to drag me up out of there, and she would have been, her hair would have been in my hands. Listen, don't embarrass. You don't know what people going through. You can't embarrass people like that. Christian, I cannot wait to hear your take on that.
I mean, I didn't even know about any of this because that's how disconnected I am from any, like.
Well, that's not the question. You don't got to talk about that.
No, but it is. But I'm answering in that way because I'm glad I'm so disconnected. I'm so disconnected from the church world that I don't even know about this stuff, and it feels good. Like, that's because, and to answer your question, I'm really exhausted with the church hurt conversation, because we can stop church hurt today if we stop just having church. I mean, that's the cure. The cure to church hurt is to do what Jesus said, the Great Commission. But you keep on packing a bunch of people in the building every week, they're going to hurt each other. Jesus never said pack in the building every week. He said go to the streets and go help people. So then we sit in church and have conversations and hold sessions and lay hands and pour oil on people that I've been church hurt. Well, get out the building and do what the Bible say, and then we wouldn't have church hurt. Like that's as simple as it is. So the church hurt conversation to me is pointless because it only exists because we created it. Because we won't tell people what Christianity really is. We tell people Christianity is a Bible study on Wednesday and church on Sunday morning. And so everybody comes in with a bad attitude. And I'm mad at my husband and I can't stand my wife and these kids getting on my nerves. And we're going to come in here and act like we're going to serve God. Nobody confessing what they're really going through. Everybody got a front for everybody else. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. And so come on, church hurt. We created church hurt and it will continue until we do the Great Commission, which is the only thing Jesus said do. So keep on being hurt. If you keep on staying in a nasty box, you're going to be hurt.
Well, and let the church say,
amen.
Go outside and you won't get hurt. And if you choose to keep on staying in a trauma box, right? You keep on choosing to stay in a trauma box where you know half the people don't like you. You wear this, so they say, ooh, what you got? All the games we play and then say, oh my God, I'm hurt. The church shouldn't be this way. Well, the church shouldn't be this way that we made it, and this stuff would go away. Simple. Train them and let them go. Nobody goes to the gas station, fills up their tank, and let the car keep running at the gas station. There's no such thing as gas station hurt because I'm not staying there. I'm gonna fill my tank and I'm gonna go do something.
Yes.
Right. So nobody says job hurt because I go do my job and I go home.
Absolutely.
We do church hurt at church because we sit there amongst each other and play games.
Absolutely. I concur. 100%. It's a gas
It's the only
station.
place you can be a fraud and people co-sign it. It's the only place you can be a fake reverend, fake doctor, fake apostle. You can't be fake nowhere else in the world. You got to have something. The church is the only place you can come in and say I'm this and expect people to be like, oh, you're this. It's a big playground. That's what happens amongst children. They hurt each other. Grow up and then we wouldn't be getting hurt.
Oh, well,
because what Christian is saying that's so true. When they come outside the walls of the church and they quote unquote say they're going to help the people, they don't even know how to address the needs and help the people because they're so wrapped up in the rhetoric of being in a toxic environment. Now they're trying to transfer it onto a group of people that can see through that and they're not going through it. They don't want to be bothered with it. They consider it BS or whatever. Or they'll call us church ladies or whatever. But we don't have no compassion. We don't have no empathy. We don't believe in the power of God. We're not speaking life into the people. We speaking death over the people. I'm working with it right now. I left. I was so disgusted, but I was like, and yet we are calling ourselves believers, but we can't be believers believing together and help these people in the community. We can't speak life into them. And they had Bible study tonight and they on the prayer line tonight. Don't pray for me because I don't know who y'all talking to because you don't even want to clean the building for the babies to come in and get homework help. I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
I'm disgusted that you don't think that they're worthy of different things and different experiences and all. You don't think they're worthy of sweeping and mopping the floors. You don't think they're worthy of clean pillows and things of that. I said these pillows been here since before COVID. I said the pillows got COVID. Oh, they all right. They not all right. Stop doing that to our black children. No. But we calling on the name of Jesus. I don't which one. I don't know. No. No.
Yeah. This walk he gave us is loaded. It came with power. It came with authority. It came with ability. It came with responsibility. And so all we want to give it is a dance and a shout, but it's so much more to this walk in Christ. Where are we? Not feeding nobody, we not clothing nobody. He say the things that you do to the least of these, you've done also unto me, right? And so we We don't do nothing but, like you said, come on to the confines of these four walls and continue to go in and bounce up against them and knock each other up against them like it's literally the battle royal, like WrestleMania or something. And that's how severely we're hurting and injuring each other when, like you said, we're not even in the right place.
That hurt.
What they say, when you know the purpose of a thing, you won't abuse it. And so it just shows you that we don't even, and I'm saying we because I'm a part of the church, but they really don't even understand the true church and the function of it. Because if they did, they wouldn't be stuck inside. They wouldn't be so mad when somebody else obeys God and goes out to do the work that God commissioned them to do. Now they want to operate in control and manipulation and tell them God didn't tell them. Now, if you go somewhere, God got to talk to me first, and I got to commission you to go. When he said, no, you obey my voice. He said, my sheep hear me and they know my voice. And so you're not going to know, evidently you don't know his voice because you're challenging the very thing that I know I heard God say in my quiet time. But again, it's disorder because people don't understand the function of it. And we're going to continue to be in that cycle of abuse and maltreatment until we come out of it. We got to come out of the confines of those four walls.
The only way to come out of it is to have correct leadership. Right? Like you made a good point. My sheep know my voice. A lot of leaders don't train the people to know God's voice. They train the people and tune them to their voice. And they're you know what I mean? Again, it goes back to the thing. If nobody ever listened to me when I was a kid, now I'm a pastor. All y'all gonna listen to me. All y'all gonna do what I'm saying. And I'm gonna train you, right? I'm gonna call God, but really in here, I'm God. So you can't take your kid to the football practice, and you're wrong if you take a vacation with your wife and all that because I'm God, you see? And so we won't train people because we're scared that now I'll feel like I'm that 8-year-old broken boy or girl again if you live the life that you're supposed to live. So I need to train you to my ear. I used to get angry at the people in churches. Really, the anger a lot is to leadership. Because leadership did that. Leadership trained the people to honor them. And you know what it is? It's just slave church, right? We take the most ignorant one who just know how to talk a little bit. We put him in front of the people, right? We're doing slave church. We are, right? I understand why slaves waited to go to heaven, because if they're getting raped and beat and hurt, heaven is the only thing. But in 2025, we're still having slave church. And a lot of that shouting and dancing that we see is mental illness. And a lot of it is what we see is almost like a trance.
Yes.
You know, I played high school football, but we wanted to get ourselves angry. We put on real angry music and hype ourselves up there to go hurt somebody. It's the same thing when they do this.
Yeah.
Right. So after I get done, I'm sweaty and I'm tired and I still need to be seen by somebody. And I still don't know how to be nice. And I still don't know how to love myself. Because we still having slave church in the black church. And a lot of the white churches are having slave church as well. That's why they have Christian white supremacy.
I'm an amen what you said, especially in regards to the trance. And they use the music and the frequencies and all of those things to keep the people in the trances. They also use it for the emotional manipulation, forgiving, and all of the other things that 100%. They do in response to that. And if you understand anything about music and beat and frequencies, and that's why it's rare that you will find any preacher in today's church that'll go up there and not expect the help of musicians.
Yes.
Like, they mad if you don't have that right sound because you manipulate the congregation to respond the way that they need them to. That's because they're not saying anything that's going to help them, but they need to trigger the emotional responses so that the people can still do all of that. I call it huckabucking and still walk out of there broken. Pockets empty, bills still not paid, no keys to life success. And it just continues over and over again.
And I'm going to help you just enough for you to come back next week, not enough for you to get free.
Right, because I want you to keep building this empire unto myself,
Yes.
not the kingdom of God.
100.
Lord have mercies.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you guys feel like there is something outside of leaving the church, the walls of the church, and whatever we talked about? Is there something, because this generation is just not having it at all? Like they really don't have a desire to go to church unless it's like for entertainment purposes. Do you think there's anything or some type of structure that we can put in place that would help? Because there are so many children now that are traumatized by certain things. It could be their childhood, it could be social media, it could be a plethora of things, because these kids are taking on so much information at way too fast. Do you think there's something that the church, not the four walls, but the church itself could do to help this generation?
Absolutely. Get out in the street. Be ye healed, be ye delivered, be ye set free, right? And then go out and do the same to others. That's the answer. Get out the four walls and go do the work of evangelism. That's it.
I think also start teaching people their God-given purpose instead of traditions of the church. Tell them who they are. Tell them who they were before they came to your church. Tell them who God made them, not who you're trying to make them. Right? In the church, you got a few places you can be. If you can't preach, you can't fit in. If you can't sing, you don't fit in. If you don't play music, you don't fit in. If you're young, you can't be a deacon. We'll make up junior deacon. You see, it's only a few slots that fit in that building. But if you teach people their purpose, then they can touch the world. Right? Teach people who they are and help them find their God-given purpose. The only people that become a problem in this world are people who don't know they're born to solve a problem. So you teach them the problem they're born to solve, and they'll go solve it, and then their esteem will go up and their trauma will go down, because the people are dealing with worthlessness, right? They're dealing with worthlessness. So if you drive their personal purpose into them, then they'll go live it out and feel very good about themselves. And a whole lot of stuff will happen in the church. Now you're not dragging money out of broke people. You're asking people now I've stepped into my purpose. What comes with purpose? Finance, friendships, healing. So now when we gather, now we have a wholly healed gathering, because we have wholly healed people, not people in there fighting over a seat because they don't know who they were before they got in that building.
That's good. That's real good.
And I think that all three of you kind of have some sort of that piece in your world. Like you have things that you do outside of the four walls that actually heal, that actually help, that like you reach out and touch people to where you're not confined to a church, where you go and you meet people where they are and you give out things that people need. Because I actually reached out to Christian a few weeks ago, because one of my friends, he grown, and he was just like, he was defeated and he couldn't figure out any men's groups to talk to. Like he was like, I just don't think there's any resources for men. And I'm like, hold on, I think I know somebody. And I reached out to Christian, because I'm like, I know Christian help men. So let me see if he got something virtual so it's something, because I don't know if it's anything here in Charlotte, but that is there's a gap there for men. They don't know where to turn.
Yeah.
So, we are going to move on to the next segment. Y'all ready for this? Wow. Relationships, romantic and platonic. How does trauma impact the way we choose partners and friends? Ramona, I'm gonna go with you first.
If you're broken, you choose broken. Platonic or romantic, until you start getting healed. And then when you get healed, the scales fall off your eyes, and you be like, I don't have to be in this pig pen. I can go back home to my father's house. It's better food there for the service. And I don't have to do this. And girl, what took you so long to get out of this? Because we accept beneath what we should, when we think that's all we can have, or we think that's all we're worthy of. If we haven't been affirmed, if we haven't been nurtured, If we haven't been watered the way that we should in our foundational relationship, and we know that's in whatever home you were raised in, whether it was two parents, single parent, kin care, grandparents, foster care, whatever. Um, but if you weren't able to grow in the soil and the nutrients and things weren't there that you needed to become a healthy, whole adult, or trauma impacted your brain and you have arrested development, and you're viewing life through trauma lenses and you're hearing things through trauma, then that's what you're going to operate in until you get healing. And for my own self, just I got intercepted on a road like Saul when he became Paul, and God sent some people in to help me, not only for my own healing, but for my being a parent, being a mom, because I really could have passed on more of intergenerational trauma had I not gotten some better tools, another skill set, and things like that, and then known that I need to go back and apologize and make amends for the things that I did do and the things that I did say that weren't good, and broken people can mess up good men too. Because people are like, well, why are you still single? I wasn't ready. It's not that I didn't have good men, that I didn't know who I was. I wouldn't have valued or treated them right. And so women have done that to men just like men have done that to women. We just don't own it. I'm gonna own all my stuff. And say who I was. So you at 54, you're getting a much better Ramona than you would have gotten at 24. And I'm so grateful that I didn't tear up some man's self-esteem and self-worth that just was a good dude. So we got to recognize that. And therapy works if you work it. Prayer works too, but get what you need so that you can be better and get whole. That's what I say.
Christian, what you say?
Ramona said it all. I'll just say this: to agree with her, you choose people that feel about you how you feel about you. That's it.
Write that down. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, that's it. And if the audience and ourselves, if we look back over our lives and we look at the moment and how we felt about ourselves, we were with the person that felt the exact same way, and they treated us the exact same way because we treated us. We give people permission without telling them they have it, just by them watching how we treat ourselves. Yep. And they say, bingo, but we can't blame them because we looked out there and said, that's how I feel about me. Come on, be my girl, be my man. And then you wake up and you change how you feel about you. Then it's like, yo, why you treat me like that? Well, because you changed. You start loving you. So now this thing don't work anymore. But you can't keep on treating that person like the enemy because they matched your energy.
Oh,
right. You just got to let them go in grace, because the truth is you opened that door because you were twins.
Hey, Christian, you ain't got to step on my toes like that.
I'm stepping on mine, but listen, I'm stepping on mine. I had to look back and say, Dad, why did I do that? Yeah, because you hated yourself, bro. And so did she.
Oh, goodness. What about you, Kim? What you say?
I concur. I mean, and it's those, like he said, it's that transition of you coming to yourself, right? Like Ramona say, I just realized I could go to my daddy's house. It's that becoming that honestly, that's where the conflict in the relationship actually begins. I mean, just having been through it my own self, like I said, it wasn't until I started healing and not responding to our trauma cycle that it was an issue, right? And so then that's when you say, hey, you come to yourself and say, it's got to be a better way. It's got to be something different. And then how do I fix this? And especially if it's in a marriage, right? Because it's going to take the both of y'all to fix it if it's repairable, right? And if that person is not willing to do the work, What the word tells us, how can two walk together unless they be agreed? And so then there has to be the agreement to disagree. And like you say, just go in grace. But it's not until we have that aha moment, that awakening moment to say, this is not who I am, and I am better than this, I deserve more than this, that actual change in the situation is going to come to life.
Mm. So what do you say to people who will say, well, if you're healed and you just have this light and you attract everything? So what do you say about that? Like, because if you're saying you're healed and you attract everything, but you're still entertaining.
Well, just because you attract it don't mean you have to accept it, right?
Or entertain it.
Or
Right. But if so would you say that they're not healed if they're still entertaining it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If they still entertaining it, then there's some brokenness there.
It's just tenderness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say tender? Sorry. I don't know why the word tender makes me laugh every time I hear it.
It does sound crazy.
Is it the illusion of light? Because sometimes we call stuff light that's not really light.
Is there a comment up there?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Simple Love 444 says, great convo. Can we underscore how we treat ourselves is our inner self narrative? Many times women will limit the treatment of themselves as self-care, vacation, massage, new bad. Yeah, that's normally like the thing. That self-care is these material things or these experiences, but not like what we're saying to ourselves, how we're treating ourselves.
How we're taking care of our emotional health, how we handling our feelings. Are we being honest to ourselves? And are we giving ourselves the time to process? A lot of times that's the true treatment that we need to give ourselves is that opportunity to process. A lot of times as women, as mothers, as sisters, as caregivers, and we're so occupied with wearing and carrying all of the different hats. We don't make the time for ourselves to sit down and just be still, deal with us. How do I feel about the teacher conference today? How do I feel about the conversation that I had with husband or baby daddy today? You know what I mean? How do I feel about these things? And what do I need to do for me to be okay? How do I manage all of these things and still stay the woman that I'm called to be? Because we can execute and not have to be manly. And I'm probably gonna make some people mad by saying this, but we could still be feminine and carry our roles. It's a mindset, it's a perspective and a spirit that we take on that causes us to operate in a masculinity that's not ours. We can still, though, execute the needs of the household without that. So that's a whole nother area of that happens because we don't take the time to sit down and process.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of times that processing comes with having the experience too, or not. Like some people just don't have the tools. They don't even know where to start. And they're processing from a standpoint of trauma. So what they're processing, it ain't going to be good anyway. And they need some outside help to get them through that because they're still going to have the same thought process. They're still going to have the same outcomes until they get the help that they need, or just acknowledge that they actually need some help with the process.
Absolutely.
Can I say this? I wish women really embraced that stepping into full femininity is very powerful.
Yes, it is.
Like, what does that mean?
Like a woman doesn't have to run to masculinity. A lot of women run to masculinity because they think that's what's powerful. But full femininity, like for example, my father had he was rough exterior, right? He was always and I remember my mom just being able to say, Thomas. I mean, and no matter where he was, all he had to hear was Thomas, and he would come right back because she wasn't gonna grab him by the collar and try to man him down. No. her femininity was, I can use the power of my voice on that man and he will stop whatever he's doing. The women are powerful. Just sometimes the way a woman to look at you,
Mm-hmm.
you'll pause, just because if a woman stepped into who God made them as, the problem is nobody teaches women the power of how God made them. So sometimes there's a jealousy to see a man moving what they think is power and say, I'll be like that so I can be powerful. When really, if she embraced the fullness of who she is, totally, she doesn't have to be anything else. Men can't be women and women can't be men. The truth is, if we start embracing who we really are and how God makes us, but nobody teaches us that. We kind of guess at what we should be.
Mm-hmm.
And really, there's a full power that God made us with. We don't have to shift anywhere and really walk into it. Women are very powerful. It's the only vessel that brings birth into the world. Like, you know how powerful it is? Even God said it's not good for man to be alone while God was with Adam. He's standing right there with Adam and saying, you're alone. Wow. Even God was acknowledging, even I can't do what she can do. And so if women really knew that, they would say, look, I don't got to be nothing but myself. I don't got to pop my teeth. I don't got to shake my neck. I don't got to do nothing. I could just stand there and this femininity will arrest the whole room.
And I think for the most part, women would love to be that way. But I think I'll speak for myself and like how I grew up. I don't think I wanted to be masculine. I was scared. So that was the only thing I knew how to be, is that form of strong, because there was never, like, not even that it wasn't taught, there was never a safe place for me to be feminine. Like, that would have gotten me eaten alive. So I couldn't be feminine. That would have, it wouldn't have turned out well if I would have just been this feminine, dainty, you know.
But I don't think femininity is not dainty. Oh,
well, I didn't mean to say it like that. I mean, just feminine, in the feminine way that you're saying, like there weren't men around that would allow me to be that way. From my dad, from my uncles, like there were no men in my atmosphere that would allow me to be feminine. I had to be the strong, you better suck it up. You better look, we got to grind this out. We got to do this. It ain't no, I can calm you down by just talking to you. Because that's just not how it was where I was from. I don't even think I ever saw a woman being that way. Even my grandmother was married. I never saw her be that way ever.
Yeah. So the femininity gets sucked out by trauma. Just like you have a lot of men now who are stepping into their femininity because of trauma. And I'm not talking about homosexuality. I'm talking about just a feminine way of dealing with life. Because they never had someone instruct them that this is masculinity without screaming, yelling, and punching walls. Yeah.
And we see it a lot too with men on social media now. Just like, y'all actually arguing with women? Like, my granddad would have never. Like, that wouldn't have even been an option for the men I seen grow up with, arguing with women. That's unheard of. And it's the norm now.
But when you grow up with women and aunts and grandmoms that argue all day like women, then that only way you know to express yourself is that way. That's all you know. Most men now weren't raised by any man. They were raised by a woman. So
I have to push back on that, because I feel like most of my uncles and them was raised by women, and they weren't sitting around arguing with women like that.
But they had male influence.
Not the way they are now. Like, it's the norm now for men and women to argue with each other. Like, I don't know. It's just, I've never seen a group overall general, like, generation of men that just argue with women like it's the norm.
There's no male authority.
You never even really heard men talk.
Well, that was just as bad.
I'm not saying that is good, but I'm saying if they weren't going to interact with a woman like that, they would have their wife talk to them, or their sister or something. They would never engage with a woman on their level where they're sitting there arguing with them. Now it's like the norm. They just do it and it's okay.
But it's a root to it, is what I'm saying. Like, I had a brother tell me one time, close friend. He said, you know why I go off so much? He said, because every time I grew up in my house and I saw something happen, I saw my mom go crazy. He never saw a man say, okay, this is how we're going to handle this. So as a grown man, he's doing this because that's all he ever saw. And so, you know, a lot of dads were missing. A lot of dads were out there working. It's a lot of things and I think some of the guys that you're talking about in that generation, because I had them too, a lot of them had male influence. Even if it wasn't a father in the house, they looked for the voice of a man. Now these guys dishonor any authority, and they only see how they grew up with women, so they respond that way. But yet they want a woman to submit when they're both girls. emotionally.
And that's that on that. All right. So, what patterns often show up in romantic relationships when childhood trauma hasn't been addressed? Let's start with you, Kim.
So many patterns. I mean, it really just depends on the type of abuse or hurt. I mean, like I said, we talked about, just dealing with the rejection and abandonment and people pleasing and all of those things. Like, it'll cause you to hold on to a situation that you should have let go of,
Ooh, child.
so long ago. It'll cause you to, again, not see your value and your worth, and have you entertaining things or people that you shouldn't even, you know what I mean? If you really knew who you were, if that trauma was healed, that in your wholeness, you wouldn't even give a second glance. So for me, it was honestly me loving people the way that I wanted to be loved, right? And expecting me from other people. That was the hard lesson that I had to learn from my trauma. It was okay if I just love them this way, then they gonna love me back, or an expectation of being treated a certain way without communicating that this is what I need, or this is what I even wanted. Like, not having the ability to even express, honestly, to a partner or whatever. So it just depends, like, what the source of the trauma is and the type of relationship. But it can lead to many things.
Yes, absolutely. What you think, Christian?
I think sometimes we just look for pleasure. We think the relationship is supposed to be all about pleasure, whether that's actual pleasure. You can't say certain things online, but so now we're just looking to be pleased. And if you don't please me, then you're not good to me. If you don't make me happy, you're not good to me, because now my hope is just to feel better, not to really be in a relationship. So now you're just a tool to make me feel better, not something I relate with. And I can't relate with you if you're not making me feel good right now. So even if I'm telling you the truth to help you, it doesn't make me feel good. So screw you. So that's the thing. I can't, because a relationship is really a sanctifying process. That's the best way to sanctify a person, to put them in a relationship. Because now I get to look at myself through you every day. And I'm close enough for you to tell me how I really am, because you're with me all the time. And so as soon as that gets murky and I'm not feeling good, then that's why we have feely relationships, and people can't get married and stay together past a year or two, because this doesn't feel good, or the new term, this doesn't serve me. That's such an arrogant, disgusting thought pattern. Leave whatever doesn't serve you. So now we live a life where everything's supposed to serve us. It's insane. So and I think all that is driven by trauma. The sad part is we put cute terms on it to make it not look like trauma, not knowing we're living in trauma while we're calling it something else.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. But Christian, you've been calling me out all episode. I don't appreciate this.
No, that's what friends are for, D.
We can get Ramona back in that question.
Hi, I'm back.
Okay. So we need you to answer this. What patterns often show up in romantic relationships when childhood trauma hasn't been addressed?
What patterns? In romantic relationships, I think the biggest one is just picking the wrong people. Picking the wrong people, not knowing your worth, and expecting different outcomes, because usually there's a type that you keep gravitating to, right? And eventually you be like, now you know this didn't go that good when you did this before. Like, this is awful familiar. Now they might have a different face, but the same body shape, same family dynamics, or something that feeds that place of brokenness on the inside of you. But you already know what that outcome is going to be. but because the needle is stuck in you, you keep going after that until you get it together and be like, or you keep picking that because you don't want to be challenged to grow and develop and become. So it could be a twofold thing there, but not wanting to become, being lazy, not wanting to walk in your purpose, not wanting to fulfill your destiny, trying to take the easy way out, and you know that there's something so much more that God has called you to, but we know that that person is not going to expect any more out of you, and you can just kind of be a slouch and do whatever. And I mean, if you choose mediocre, then that's what you're going to get. But if you choose something different, then it's unknown, it's unfamiliar, and it's scary. But I say it's worth it.
Ooh,
Because
child.
just because you're alone doesn't mean you're lonely.
Right.
That part.
It's so peaceful.
Mhm.
It is.
Oh. Yeah, I agree. And I think that I was thinking about this earlier today. Like being uncomfortable has pushed so many people out of their greatness. Like it's okay to be uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Like we get so annoyed so quickly now, and just like, oh, I don't like it, I'm not doing it. It's like you don't know you're missing the blessing right there because now you're about to learn something different that you didn't know. But
Right.
this era right now, everything has to, like Christian said, got to feel good. It got to be familiar. And if it don't make me feel good, I'm leaving. I'm not doing it. I'm not working hard at it. It just need to be what it is. So I agree. I don't know if I'm ready to do anything different yet, but we'll work on it. I don't know. I don't know. Christian to get on me again, I'm sure. You getting on me. Okay, y'all. What steps can people take to build healthier connections when trauma has shaped their view on love and friendship? Christian. He on mute.
That one threw me off. Say that again. Say that one
Okay.
again.
What steps can people take to build healthier connections when trauma has shaped their views on love and friendship?
Admit your wickedness. Like say where you're broken. Say, because we talked about patterns earlier. We all know where we're screwed up. We all know what we've done. We all know what we pack on our back and take everywhere we go. Like sometimes I'm learning that the greatest thing to ever do in life is to pause. Pace hurts us bad. Right? We just get to it, whether it's business, whether it's relationship, whether it's ministry, whether it's dreams or goals. We just want to get to it. There's no respect for pace. Pace is the greatest teacher. So slow down and look at the person you're taking on this journey. You might need to lose some things. The scripture talks about gates, like different gates in the scripture. And all those gates were different sizes and different widths, right? And so when you got the different gates, it was a requirement that this won't fit through that gate. And it wasn't like I could take it off and then reach back through the gate and pull it. No, once I took it off and left it there, the gate was closed. I had to go on with who I am now. And so we want to take everything with us. And you can keep it all, but you can't get anywhere that way. So you got to be willing to go through smaller places and wider places and taller places, shorter places to start ridding yourself of what's stopping you from getting where you got to go. So instead of blaming people and say, this should be better, if this was right, I would do this. No, you got to get rid of some stuff and get rid of the stuff that's stopping you from being successful. But that takes us to admit that what we are and what we've been through is not everybody else's fault. We got to take ownership of who we are. And I think that we can heal that way, not asking people to change, but changing ourselves. That's scary. It's easy to blame everybody else. It's hard to do surgery on yourself because nobody can fix you but you. Nobody. And you got to take the knife to yourself as a whole nother thing.
Yes.
That's why even when Joshua was about to take him into the promised land, they were grown men. He said, go take a stone, sharpen it, and circumcise yourself. Yes. Now, y'all not men. But if there's men listening, you would understand what it is to have flesh down there. You're a grown man. They circumcised was it 4 days or 8 days a baby?
8 days. Mm-hmm.
And they would cut that flesh. That baby wouldn't really know. They would cry a bit, but a grown man with a sharp stone and you cutting at your own flesh, right? But that's what it costs us to go forward. That's why people rather blame people and throw their flesh on people than cut it off.
Where is my shoe so I could throw it at you, Christian?
Right. Where's the collection?
Can I piggyback on that? Because honestly, what we do is we deceive ourselves, and we only want to give credit to the work that was done by Jesus, and we don't want to take the accountability to do the work that's responsible for us. He gave us a power and authority. Yes, he did it in the spirit realm, but he gave us the authority to walk in the earth.
Yes.
And there are things that we are responsible for doing, which is disassociating ourselves from those things, is denouncing those behaviors. I'm not going to do these things anymore. And not allowing those things to continue to rule us. I will not be run by my trauma. You are no longer the Lord of my life. Jesus is the Lord of my life. I live the way he called me to live. He said, I'm free, so I'm free from you, and I will not pick you up, because we quick to say what we're not going to do. We'll ask for forgiveness, but we won't do the whole turning away. We'll acknowledge some things, but we won't go away from it because it's familiar, like you said, it's common, and there's we get our peace from it, and we don't really get to experience true peace because we allow that.
Well, it's a false sense of peace.
Yeah, it's a false sense of peace because we won't release or relinquish those things that we've been holding on to, so that the peace of God can come in and give us that peace that surpasses all understanding. But we have to do the work. We have to say, I no longer will continue in these things. Didn't the word tell us that we are overcomers by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimonies? But we won't open our mouths and testify. We won't open our mouths and say, this is who I was. This is what I experienced. And this is what I've overcome. This is what I'm in the process of overcoming. And we won't find the community because we won't open up our mouths and testify. Our witness is that's how we go out and tell the people, hey, I know I evangelize. I tell the people, look, I was hurt. I was broken. If you knew me when I was in Chicago, you wouldn't have liked me. It was it was God that changed my heart. It was God that said, that's not who I created you to be. And so it was the love that he placed in my heart for people to no longer suffer the way that I was, that made me run out there and be like, oh my God, I got to tell you about it. Because if you hurt anywhere near the way I hurt, guess what? You don't have to. And your life can be so much better after here. Like I said, we got to show the people who they are. But again, we can't do that until we acknowledge who we are.
We love talking about that blood, but we won't talk about our testimony.
We won't talk about it.
What you got, Ramona?
I say what Christian says. We don't want to talk about the testimony. And then some people try to keep you from telling the testimony. Everything not for everybody. Well, tell me who it's for. Tell me who it's for. Because as an author, first of all, I done wrote everything. I don't hide nothing. That way you can't say I did. I already told you I did it. And then you can't run up on my daughter and tell her I did it because I told her I did it too. And I want somebody behind me to know that I did it. And if you doing it, you can get help, you can get healed, and you can get out of it, and you don't have to stay stuck there. So that's who the testimony is for. Now, if that's not your struggle and if that's not your thing, then God bless and never smile upon you. But we had to tell somebody. Who's going to tell them? That's what I want to know. Who's going to tell them? because we want people to believe. Here's where I struggled the most. Believing that God didn't love me anymore.
Mm.
Believing I wasn't lovable by God. Believing that I had done so much he could never love me again.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
was
Wow.
stuck there for a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a song by Tasha Cobb, and there's one line in there. It says, "At the end of the day, he loves me.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who don't like it, he loves me." Man, you talking about I can bawl and cry like a baby right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because he does love me, and it doesn't matter what I did.
Mhm.
Because then again, here comes the blood, right? Because the blood's supposed to have covered everything I did, right? And when I got saved, I got reconciled back to him. So why you telling me he don't love me? He won't talk to me. He judges me because now I'm entering into these quote unquote covenant relationships with people, and they saying, well, when you sin, God told me not to talk to you no more. When you sin, God told me not to be your friend no more. And now I'm excommunicated and all this other kind of stuff. And don't become a single parent in the black church. Like that's a whole nother discussion. So yeah, no, no. You know, I got delivered. I was in the car one day and I heard another song. I guess y'all know I listen to a lot of songs. And it was when Christian rap was first coming out, and this guy was rapping and he was talking about the young lady said, I was young and I got pregnant. I was being dumb. But then I realized that God still loved me. I don't even know if they still rap. I was crying in my car on I-95 South going home because then I had the reality of no matter that baby that was in the back seat of the car, I was still his and he still loved me.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Amen. Can you put that comment up? Simply Love 444 says many require professional help, therapy, not your pastor. No offense. And you need people around you that will hold you accountable to your healing journey. Mm, yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. The accountability part is major. It's
It is.
major because I often talk about echo chambers and that people, I'm sure y'all tired of me talking about them, but I think it's so important because I get tired of hearing women specifically talking about things that only their circle agree with. And it's like, what have you like? Don't do that. Don't come outside with me. You sound crazy because I'm gonna call you out, and you need to tell these other folks y'all need to quit hanging together
Yeah.
because y'all are
Yeah.
each other's worst enemy in these echo chambers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like a lot of times, like I talk to men, especially like my engineer friend, he'll tell me him and his friends will have conversations and they'll call each other out all day long and they can still go golf or do whatever. And
Yes.
women, oh my God, I done lost so many friends because I called them out and I'm like, oh, we weren't really friends. If I can't tell you, like, I'm not going to embarrass you and you're not going to embarrass me.
Mhm.
So if you can't handle it, then we just can't be friends. For some reason, women just cannot. A lot of women can't handle being called out.
Yeah.
So imagine if women can't call women out. Imagine what the battle is in the house with a man.
Mm.
And then people say why men don't want to connect anymore. Well, I can't. I can't. I can't connect because I'm going to get blasted if I say anything. That's a scary place.
Green light.
So and then then you have people say, well, men should express themselves. Well, I'm going to get blasted. If you blast your girlfriend, you definitely going to blast me. I'm automatically the enemy.
Mhm.
I had
Yeah.
one of my friends, she lives with her aunt and uncle. She's grown, and she said, yeah, he went out of town and I couldn't stand being around her. I said, really?
Hit the button.
Because she realized in that moment what that man goes through. And it was very interesting to see that her having to deal with that. I said, now imagine what her man deals with. She said, I understand. But it took her to be there by herself with that woman to realize who that woman was.
Mm.
I'm not making women bad. I'm just saying the same thing you're saying, D, is about accountability. Is it you? Hey, you hurt me. Well, you hurt me 3 weeks ago. Well, wait a minute. So
Why are we talking about it now?
Yeah.
well, I don't want to get into that tonight because I don't want to get in trouble. So
Okay, my bad. My bad.
I'm the only man here, and honest to God, y'all know me. I don't attack women, but I think It's not about an attack. It's about a
Mm-mm.
conversation that can't even be had for the reason of being.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate because there's so many things that can be learned
Mm-hmm.
and help us grow, especially as a community, to like really like,
Right.
you know what, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm really trying to help you. But they only hear hate or jealousy, and it's like, no, I'm really just trying to help you.
I,
And
I
how do we have healthy dialogue in our community?
Yeah.
At first it starts with forgiveness, right? And then from there, instead of competing over who's hurt the worst or who's hurt most, right? And oh, see my scar. Look, you did this here, you did that there. I
Mhm.
honestly believe that we missed the opportunity to heal together
Yeah.
because we're so busy comparing who's hurt the worst and who's responsible for the hurt. At this point, it's all irrelevant because we're all hurt. At the end of the day, we need to forgive and then let's move forward. A lot of the time, if God said that He doesn't remember our sins anymore, why do we continue to hold people to things that we've supposedly forgiven for?
Yeah.
I can forgive you, right? And I have the opportunity to either reconcile or go away. And if you understand that that person that you have to forgive is likely to continue hurting you, right? They're not at that point, or they're unwilling to do that healing process with you, then yes, you have to make a decision to say, okay, I can't be with you at this moment, and possibly we can reconcile at a later date. But for now, I have to do what's good for me in my healing process, and I can't allow you to continue to keep me in that place of hurt. But we gotta forgive. And I've watched it where in marriages specifically, we keep calling up the incidences, we keep calling up the moments, and I remember when you did this, and I remember when you did that. But again, we lose out on the opportunity of healing and growing and becoming together. Because just to kind of go back on what Ramona said, people tell you that because you've sinned, right, that God doesn't want to be around you anymore. Well, that's not His word. He still loves us even before Christ. If we go back to the garden, He already knew Adam and Eve had partaken the fruit, and He was there to visit with them. Not only that, he did the whole atoning process for them and taught them how to do it for themselves, how to atone and how to remain in right relationship with Him, and said, hey, make sure y'all teach y'all children and y'all children teach y'all children how to do this, because I still want to be able to be with you, to relate with you. So if God wants us to atone to be with Him, and He's teaching us how to establish the family dynamic, like Christian said, that's where it all started, then we should be taking those very lessons from that atonement process and applying it in our lives. After Cain and Abel, and that situation that happened, Adam and Eve were not the ones that punished him. It was God. It was God. But that's not how we do it in the family. We ostracize. We do it instead of doing the atoning and the restoration that could take place. And we miss out on a great blessing because we don't sit down. We don't hear. We won't be still. We won't acknowledge or even validate. You know what? I did do that. And I'm absolutely sorry that I did that to you. Let me not say sorry. I apologize that I did that to you. I apologize that I made you feel this way. I apologize that I caused you to compromise that's something that's valuable to you. I did that to you, and I take full accountability and responsibility for it. But we have to come to a place where, again, we stop comparing the wounds and the scars and focus on the healing, because that's what needs to take place.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I'm not. I told a guy I was in a relationship with, I'm not comparing struggles with you. Like that's just doesn't make sense. Where's that gonna get us? I'm just not doing it. Like, and we gonna heal past it or what?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, we both had bad upbringings, and it wasn't either one of our fault.
So what we gonna do? We gonna heal, or we gonna go our separate ways?
I'm not doing it. All right, we're gonna move on to another segment. I don't know, we don't have much more time, so let me I'm gonna pick the food and nourishment segment. How do childhood experiences around food like scarcity, control, and neglect affect our eating habits as adults?
I could speak on that because it was, you don't waste no food around here. You eat everything. It's children in Africa starving, and it would be sometimes I want to say children because I don't want it. But that was we got taught those unhealthy things, and then also even the food, like it's so much even around that. We call it soul food, right? And really understanding what that is, the mind, the will, the emotions, right? We have that food to soothe and comfort those things. And I remember as I was as God was dealing with me with my unhealthy eating habits, right? That soul food was necessary for our ancestors because they were eating leftovers, they were eating slop, and they really had to feel good about something that because they were nourishing their body with with the scraps, with leftovers, right? So they had to, it was a tool that was necessary for them. And I remember God saying, soul food is not necessary for you. So you have to disconnect from that because you're not from that generation. It didn't serve your purpose. But again, we get stuck in tradition. And so we pass things down that are no longer necessary or needed in a generation. And again, I'm gonna go back to, if you understand the purpose of a thing, you won't abuse it. We continue to abuse things because we really don't understand the purpose. We just pass it down because this is what we do. This is what we've always done. And the cycle in food is going to continue unless we stop it and get a true understanding of what food is. And that was one of the things that the Lord had to remind me, that when I sat down to eat my food, I was eating to nourish my body. I was not living to eat, because that was the mindset. I lived to eat because, oh, it's so good. It tastes so good. I was living for that pleasure of the food.
Christian, what you got?
I had a friend, very close friend, and they were very poor growing up. And so mom was nurse by herself with it was like 4 of them. And she used to literally padlock the cabinets closed because they would just plow through it. And so he got married, and they had one child, and it's not a food problem, but he was still want to and he was eating more than anybody in the house, but he still, because in his mind we're going to run out. And so that affected him. And that was one thing I helped counsel them through, was he carried that so bad that here you have one kid, and this kid can't go just get a stack, even though it's 1,000 snacks, because of that broken mentality. We won't have enough when they really had more than they would ever need. And he can look at more than he ever need, but his mind said it's not enough. And it's something that power that mind, or the power the broken mind, that will convince us of something that's completely false. This mind is an image maker. What our eyes see, this mind is an image maker. That's why we got to convince ourselves and come into the truth, rather, that our mind is our slave, not our master. So we got to give our mind a command, or it will choose another command. And so I think we forget that we're in control of this. We think that this thing just gives us, no, this thing is empty. You got to take something in for it to respond. So just like it can respond on something negative, we got to tell it something. We got to make it our slave. And because somebody else will make your mind their slave. And so we got to take hold of this and take control. Otherwise, we'll keep on living out either things from the past or fantasies of the future, and we'll never see in reality.
That's good.
put that comment up real quick before we get to Ramona? Jen said, when someone grows up with scarcity, the moment they finally have access to abundance, they may struggle with moderation because the instinct to overindulge replaces the ability to ration or pace themselves.
Yeah.
Ooh, and that could be with more than just food, but that's another
Yes.
conversation.
Yeah.
Ramona,
Correct.
what you say?
I say I'm a work in progress. Um, I agree wholeheartedly. I remember they used to say this to my grandpa. Didi, don't you laugh. They said some people eat to live, Brother Gibson live to eat. I was like, why y'all talk about my grandpa like that? He enjoyed food,
Mm,
and my grandma was a good cook,
yes,
and that
she.
was her love. That was her love language, right? That was her love language for
Mhm,
us. Now, when I came home, food was scarce, so it's a battle. And then I had to say to myself, food is not your love language. Um, 'Cause I was watching a documentary and it was saying, food ain't never done me wrong. That's what Luther said. I was like, Luther, you lying and I'm lying too. Food is not our friend. And so just having to make better decisions. So that's why this thing, I vacillate. But like Christian was saying, I need you to write down what you said, Christian. You said something about the mind
I
and give
don't
it
be
a
remembering
command.
nothing I say after it come
Yeah,
out. It's
I
gone.
gotta play that back.
we
But
can
he
play
said,
it
give
back.
it a
It's recorded.
command, and I have to master it because, and like, and so I know I'm getting better now because I'll say to myself, you drinking sugar, right?
Mhm,
You're drinking sugar, and just so you know, you're drinking sugar. So when you put those pants back on and they're a little tight, remember you drunk sugar.
mhm,
But just having those conversations, honest conversations, because we want to do this great work for God. And then this is where I'm calling myself out on my own self. We want to do this great work, but how am I going to do the work if I'm not in shape to do the work? Or if I don't have the strength or the stamina to do the
mhm,
work? So that's why I say I am a work in progress
Yeah.
because that is what I am working on right
Yeah.
now. I don't want to fall out mid journey. I want to complete everything I'm supposed to complete. I still want to go to the playground and play with my nieces and my nephews on the swings, and I still want to travel and all these things. But if your joints is bothering you, your back is bothering you, you need icy hot biofreeze and all of that. Yeah. So just learning to do better with our temples.
mm.
And if we want something out of the machine, we got to put the right thing into it. So
Absolutely.
again, I am a work in progress.
Can you put that comment up for me? Jen said, "Yep, not just food." In reference to my comment, scarcity can spill over into other areas for sure. Relationships, money, even attention. Where it becomes hard to find balance once you finally have access. Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. Well, I feel like when it comes to childhood experiences around food, that is major. Like that's kind of the center. As a child, that's kind of one of the things that you kind of can enjoy, right? When you finally get something, you get to enjoy it. And coming from a poor background where food wasn't abundant, when you get older, it is hard to control that. It's hard to figure out how to monitor what you eat. But also, I think that there are like for me, I'm the opposite. Like I am very, very, very hard on myself when it comes to food. So I'm really strict because I don't know. I don't know. I got to figure out that part of the childhood or why I feel like I'm gonna just if I eat something, I'm just gonna blow up. I don't know where that comes from. It may have nothing to do with my parents. It could be because I've been an athlete my whole life. My track coach used to call me fat all the time. Like, so I'm always constantly trying to figure out a way to not be fat.
Mm.
So I'm when it comes to discipline with food, I have no problem with that. I can stop eating at a drop of a dime, but it's not good. So I'm the other end of the spectrum.
Mm.
And I think a lot of times when we talk about childhood trauma, we don't always the first default thing is to go to our parents. And a lot of times we don't talk about other experiences or people or adults that were over us that may have had an influence on us. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that the eating habits is a big problem for me when it comes to food, but on the other end of the spectrum. Next question in the food and nourishment section. Have you experienced unhealthy cycles like emotional eating, restriction, or using food as comfort?
Yeah, food is just like the drugs. You
Drugs,
know,
Yes, they
sex,
do.
alcohol.
we will quickly judge somebody else's addiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you ain't rolling up or you ain't snorting up. It's like, look at them. But it's like every time you get pissed off, you in that drive-through. All it take, you know what I mean? All it take is a little, and I think everyone knows that. Or like Dee Dee said, or you'll just shut down. Or you'll see your body look a certain way, and again, your mind is your slave, not your master. You wind up seeing something that ain't there, or you might see some food and feel like, that's 15 pounds of fat. Now I gotta, because I would go both ways. I'll get mad, and now I'm getting my favorite thing. Or on the other side, I would go and say, you know what? That's why it was so easy for me to fast all my life. I'm not eating. I went on 3 40-day fasts in my life, and it was no problem because I had to start asking myself, is this even spiritual? Because I could just say I ain't doing it, and it had nothing to do with God, just because I was feeling bad about myself or I wanted to get this weight off. So I had to really challenge myself and say, this is not spiritual, bro. This, you can't call this a fast. Just call it starvation. You know what I mean? So I've been on both sides of that. But yeah, I think we need to start letting people get away with judging on these things, but not calling that burger the same thing you would call that dope, because it's all dope because it's dopamine that makes you feel better about whatever just happened. Until then you look up and say, dang, how I put on 30? Well,
Yep.
And
30 days of being mad.
It's even harder when you don't have to leave the comfort of your home, when you have the ability to go in there and cook it yourself and get that feel good. You ain't gotta go be like, hey man, can I get a little some of that? No, you go right on in there and fix it. And that place of comfort that you find from food is literally at your fingertips. Yeah. And so it's a struggle. I'm with my sister Ramona. I vacillate as well, because in some areas I could be healthy, I could be strong, and then if in that moment of weakness, you go back and revert to the old cycles, because it's still some areas that aren't completely healed. It's some areas that I still hadn't surrendered and said, I'm releasing this. I don't own these things anymore. And I'm not going to take ownership of them anymore, because it's still that, I get that feel good from it. And I'm not quite ready to separate from it. It's our own choices. Like you say, that mind, it'll break you. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. I spoke at a church last year, I think it was, about this. I knew I was going to step on some toes, because I was like, y'all get up in the pulpit every Sunday and y'all preach about, all these sins and people with tattoos and single parents and fornication and all this, but we don't talk about gluttony and how people are showing up in the church and abusing their bodies. So, like, how y'all calling people out on one thing but not the other? We got to talk about all of it. And the church is supposed to be a place of healing, so we got to heal from the inside out.
Absolutely.
We have to be mindful, because that, like Kim said earlier about the soul food, it's feeding our soul, but it's killing our bodies. We got to get rid of that and change the way we look at food and how we ingest food, and knowing that we can't be I think I saw it on social media. We at the funeral, the same food that killed them, we serving it at the funeral, at the repast. It's just crazy.
Wow. That's wild.
The same cycle over and over again. Yeah.
The Kool-Aid, the chicken, all of it. Yeah.
All of it. Yeah. And look, I said, see, that's why y'all feet be falling off, but that's another story. We got to get it together. We got to do better. And it's one day at a time. I don't want anybody to feel like this is something easy. One of the hardest things you'll ever do is have discipline with food. That is the hardest thing you'll ever do.
Yeah.
Because it's legal, it's acceptable, and we're allowed to do it at will.
I say it's moment by moment. It's literally moment by moment, meal by meal. You get to choose what you're going to do, and if you're going to do the work.
Yeah. It's extremely hard. It is extremely hard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. I got one more question for y'all, and this is not a typical question that I usually ask. I made this up just for y'all. Since I feel like there is a huge gap between our generation and this generation, and everybody blaming everybody, right? This generation ain't doing this. Okay, so I feel like we're at fault. We did something.
Mm-hmm.
We missed the mark somewhere. So what advice would you give to this generation that would help bridge that gap? Anybody that want to go first? I'm gonna leave this up to y'all this time.
You say, what advice would we give to
this generation that will help bridge the gap between us and them? And in any aspect, it doesn't have to be any particular topic, just anything that you want to give them to help something. Because I feel like we keep talking about how bad this generation is, but we don't take a lot of responsibility of why this generation is as bad as it is.
One of the things that I have found myself saying to my sons is wisdom is non-generational. It's for everybody. And wisdom applies to each situation as it needs to, right? So the wisdom for my house may not be the wisdom for your house, but no matter what, wisdom is good for everybody. And that's what my advice would be to this generation, is to not reject wisdom. Don't reject it, because it can save you, and it can keep you from experiencing some things that's really unnecessary, some things that'll harm you. It can keep you safe if you just heed the wisdom. Don't look at the messenger. Just listen to the wisdom. If you can find the wisdom in the message, hear that and hold on to it.
That's good. Who next?
I would say have and develop your own relationship with God for yourself. That's what I would say.
Absolutely.
I think we just got to tell them the truth that when you become an old head, the generation, we say the same things about them that our parents said about us. So it's really all the same. I mean, we can't front like, because they called us the worst generation. Oh my God, they're the worst generation. Then we look at them and say, oh my God, it's the same thing. So really, instead of despising them, I would say, be yourself and stop letting society tell you who to be. And it's okay to be yourself. Right? A lot of people didn't tell us it was okay to be ourselves. Right? We were influenced. They got social media now. We were influenced by rap music. Right? We were influenced by all that R&B love. That's why we had so many babies. You see what I'm saying?
You had all the babies, Christian. Ain't nobody have all them babies but you.
No, I had one, and then triplets came. Boom! I had woo. But I was cool with one. The Lord said, triplets, Jesus. But I think that's what it is, to tell people it's okay to be yourself. We just became whatever the song said become. We became whatever, and they're letting the same thing happen to them, right? And I would say to them, hey, be yourself and stop being. It's okay to be you. It's okay to develop who you are, and it's okay not to be like them, And you're not an outsider because you're not doing what everybody else is doing. Like, it's okay to take your hoodie off in the summertime. It's cool, bro. It's cool, bro. But yeah, just love who you are. I don't think that's enough. That happens through enough generations to tell our children to love who they are. I think what our mistake was, our parents told us, you better be who I say.
Yeah.
Right. And then we even start raising our kids the same way. Nobody lets people be themselves. So we got to release people to do that without acting like it's a sin for them to love and embrace themselves, no matter how different it might be. Yeah.
Can you put that last comment up? Simple Love 444 says, may I offer, I think she said, my advice. Perhaps I apologize, and I'm here and ready to listen. That's good.
Yes, it is.
That is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. They need to hear that. They need to hear that, because I think they feel like it's us against them. They don't feel safe talking to us. They don't feel like they can open up to us because they feel like they keep hearing that they're so bad, they're so this, they're so that. And it's just this divide. That's good. Yeah. And I have a 15-year-old, and I just often tell him to use the information that you have. It's so much of it, but it's like y'all, it's so much that they're inundated with it, so they don't know how to process it all. But they're lazy learners, so they're not willing to get the information. I'm like, y'all the most advanced generation ever. So use the information. And also, I want to throw out a word, nuance. People, please, 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 please use nuance. Everything is not black and white. We have lost critical thinking. We've lost a lot of comprehension because of social media, and it's difficult to have conversations with people because they just don't understand the nuance of things. They can't even insert certain things in the conversations because somebody's not dictating to them what to think, what to say, how to feel. So the conversation is horrible. So, y'all got to get off the memes. Y'all got to get off the acronyms. Y'all got to use full sentences and communicate and have conversations with each other. Got to.
There's power in free thinking.
Oh my goodness. Because I don't want to see no more regurgitated memes. I really just, I don't. I don't. So yeah, y'all were amazing as usual. I think this episode brought a lot of information that people needed to hear. It was a conversation that most people won't have because everybody's into this shock value entertainment type stuff. And I just want to make sure people are getting what they need, regardless of who it reaches. Somebody heard it, somebody saw it, and somebody's going to keep hearing it and playing it back. So I appreciate y'all for coming on again and helping me close out season 3. This is just the beginning. I'm sure I'll see y'all again. And I just want y'all to make sure people know how to follow y'all. If y'all have anything you have coming up that you want to promote, any products, anything you sell, please let folks know how they can contact you and reach out to you and follow you. Ramona, you go first.
You can find me at visionaryromona.com or Ramona M. Gaines on Facebook. And yeah, that's where you can find me. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And what you got for sale? I know the folks need to buy some books or something.
They could buy some barbershop books. They could buy some bonnets. They can look us up on Amazon. They could buy a book about making a cake or, whatever you need. The bonnets, do-rags, edge control. We got it.
Yes.
I'm going to start selling essential oils in a minute. But anyway, no. But yeah, you can find everything on my website or you can find it on Amazon.com. Ramona M. Gaines. Thank you.
Perfect. Kim, what you got?
Well, first, thank you for having me again.
You're welcome.
It truly is a pleasure. You can find me, Seat of Authority, on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and my YouTube channel. So Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 and 8, that you will find me there.
That's what I'm talking about. Seat of Authority. Y'all better follow.
Yes, that's the website.
Christian, what you got? Y'all know Christian the man, y'all. I just want y'all to know.
Nah, just a guy. Seriously, just a guy, like really. ChristianWinners.com is the website. You can get some of the books that you see behind me. Just released one for men called Dear Brother, The Blueprint to Becoming a Man of Your Own Dreams. This was one for my sisters, The Soul of Sarah. And this one right here is the one that kept me kicked out of all churches everywhere. I left church to serve God. So you can go get any book on ChristianWinners.com. My life is committed to the restoring of men, the restoring of their confidence. So Christian Winners podcast, for the rest of my life, I'm just spending it restoring men globally. So brothers, come holler at me. I love you. And D, thanks for letting me come on and be on your show. I really honor the work that you do. You do excellent work. You have worked hard to build the following you have. And I'm proud of you because you don't just do it for likes, you do it for impact. So may God richly bless you.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that, Christian. You're gonna make me cry. Don't do that. No, joking. I don't need these hoes thinking I'm weak. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
ID.
I'm sorry. Okay, y'all. This was the season finale, y'all. It was phenomenal. I will see y'all back here in probably 3 weeks with season 4. Hopefully, we have an amazing premiere. I have a lot of things going on this month because it's my birthday month. Hey, September 30th is my birthday. I'll be 21. No, I'm joking. The big 47. I'm excited. I don't care about my age. I look good, honey. So I'm doing a big photo shoot as I do every year. This one will not have any animals in it, y'all. So don't be looking for no animals. I'm done with the animals. I'm done with them. I've had tigers. I had snakes. We're not doing animals this year. So I'm excited about this photo shoot. Also, I will be finally releasing my short film, Dee's Night. I filmed it last year. We're going to finally release it because next year we're going to make it into a full feature film. So get ready for that. It's going to be a roller coaster, but I'm ready for that. And also on September 21st at 4 p.m., I will be at the PAR Center being nominated for Podcast of the Year at the Carolina Music Video Awards. So come check your girl out on the red carpet here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm excited about that. I really appreciate the nomination, no matter how it goes. And also, I have a book. It is Breaking the Cycle of Childhood Trauma, and I need you guys to go and buy it on my website, thecorequeen.com/book. And make sure you get it from my website. You can get it from Amazon, but I appreciate it if you get it from my website. And I will sign it for you and send you some cute little gifts along with it. And I think that you guys need to make sure you get this as a gift for people because it really is impactful. And it was one of the toughest things I've ever done was write this book. And everything that I do from here on out will be surrounded by breaking the cycle because I think it's important. And I think people need to start working on it. And I want my grandchildren to be able to see that I put this body of work together and help to raise them and their mom to break this cycle. So y'all go out and get the book. And also, y'all know what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to go on YouTube, follow, subscribe, like, share, comment, let people know about the Core Queen chat. I need y'all to go in there and like this specific episode, comment on it, leave me some type of feedback and let me know what you like about it. And also for next season, I really want y'all to send me some feedback about what you wanted to talk about. If you have some topics, if you have some guests you want me to have on the show, I'll try to get as many as I can on the show as I can and talk about what we can talk about. But I appreciate y'all in the comments. I appreciate my panel. I appreciate everybody coming every week. So we'll be back October 1st, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, same place, same time on YouTube. Y'all check us out. I love y'all. I'll see y'all.
Love you too.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.